Hello, Jason, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back.
Hi.
Sorry about that one. We got thrown into this one pretty quickly without much warning. France versus South Korea, though. France coming off a pretty crushing loss to the United States. South Korea coming off a pretty big win already. So,
as
yeah.
usual, yeah.
We can discuss that a little bit more as we sort of jump into the game. But very quickly, if you're not familiar with this France team, you should know players like Hardest and Leaf, who've been around for a long time. Tech 36. He and Chubbs play on Samsung Morningstars. Chubbs is actually an ex-StarCraft player. There you go. We know Hip and FD God is going to be on that loose here. But Matt, South Korea, Architect, Haxal, Mano, Choicho, Bidos, and IDK. That's frightening.
Oh, and by the way, Carpe not playing this one. He'll take a little bit of a break. I heard he did some crazy stuff on the Hanzo in the last series, but they come out here with Haxal on the May, Architect on Hanzo to kick things off.
Yeah, Haxal trying to play back a little bit there. It looked like Hardest was trying to look for a way in. Leaf, I mean, he's an absolute doomfist god, man. I will be honest. That's one of the biggest parts of France's artillery they'll be bringing to this kind of match. But up against South Korea, you're asking for a heck of a lot from one player.
You see Mano here. I think Mano one of the best Reese's in the world. Choyobin on the Roadhog here, but it's going to be two from Leaf.
Here we go, baby.
Looks like they're trying to swing this one back in. Oh, Architect just killed it.
Leaf,
they do get the point.
Yeah. No, Paris able to push back in. Architect on the Hanzo. It's interesting to hear that Carpe was playing a little bit earlier on. It was normally EQO. Carpe obviously re-signing with the Fusion for another year.
It's Architect trying to look for an angle. This will be a Blizzard. They throw the Blizzard down when the Meteor Strike comes down, trying to catch Leaf in it. They don't exactly get him inside the Blizzard, freeze him up completely, but Ocean takes care of him.
25% and counting for France. South Korea start to make their move here. Amplification Matrix used by IDK. He might have just been using it for himself, and it eventually gets hooked in by Choi Hyobin. South Korea, also with a Hanzo May composition with the Roadhog here, Matt. What are your thoughts?
I mean, this is kind of what was it? It was like the pulled pork with the ice wall, right? Ice fishing composition, I think we ended up naming it. You have the Hanzo in play, and they play Baptiste Ana in terms of their support, so Leaf now will actually play May is the answer to this. We've been talking about how important the Moira is. We have not seen the Moira for South Korea just yet.
Architect with Dragon Strike here. Straight through the choke, and the hold was pretty darn good. Most of France were able to get ahead of the Dragon Strike, but FD God's Sound Barrier gets them through there pretty safely, but now it's a nano-boosted. Yeah, nano-boosted. But Supercharger? That's a lot of damage boosting on that whole hog.
That'll be another fight win for South Korea. They do use a ton of ultimates to hold on to the point, though, so IDK will get closer towards that Ant Matrix. You probably build it basically as fast as like a Coalescence is.
Yep.
Architect is trying to get one with a headshot coming across these chokes.
Playing the off angle. If he finds a pick before South Korea move in, I mean, already Ice Block getting forced out of it. I mean, there's no point. Like, you don't want to take the risk, especially with all the insta-kill. Hardest trying to move up here. Slapped immediately in front of an Amplification Matrix, the one place you don't want to be, but he's able to get away with Wraithwalk at the very least. Shikobi gets traded for Leap, but Hardest is able to find Haxal. And now Bedoshin, not much he can do with Tech 36, also bearing down on him. South Korea with an appreciable lead.
Yep. Now Mano just gets onto the point, just trying to build up some ultimate charge and fall as you want to get a full reset here. Oh, and they bait in Tech 36 there as IDK able to stay alive through that. Now you can probably push.
60 and counting.
All right. Use block.
Yeah. I mean, Leaf seems like very ready to pop that one. He's very afraid of Holt and the like, and well, he gets caught out there. He does get caught in the Blizzard. In fairness, Haxal's able to walk away with that one, and Architect kind of gets to finish the job. South Korea don't control the point currently. They look pretty comfortable in this fight, and the way that they're playing right now, they definitely seem like they're pretty chill. Tech 36 being removed, and
so as we're casting France, I see AKM waving at us.
He's calling me.
They probably could have used him in some of these games, but he decides to take the weekend for himself, hang out a bit. But this is really kind of last chance here for France. And headshot there from Haxal with a icicle into the dome of Hardest. It's going to be hard now.
Pretty devastating. Dragon Strike now. The main entry was walled off. That one actually looks like it was walled off by Leaf. It was. Architect forced to back away here and stands inside the Immortality field. He's got a very safe position for some late fight picks here, and Troikobin wasn't detected on that high ground. He's able to get the kill on Tech 36 before the Blizzard gets used. And will get frozen up here, but South Korea is still in control. IDK not standing on the point, so they do cede control to France here.
Yes, they can't fight it. It's now France. They flipped the point, and they're up to 90%, but Ocean was so low, he has to back out.
This is very chaotic play from South Korea here. Not a lot of rhyme or reason, but it may not matter. Haksal gets himself onto the point, and no one was there to see Hardest go for the Death Blossom. He has been able to split South Korea off at the very least, and he's causing him a lot of problems with overtime ticking down. Mano gets caught on the point.
Yeah, France can do it here.
Yeah, looking pretty good, and they've managed to take advantage here of South Korea. A couple of mistakes from them, especially in positioning and timing. Tech 36 finding Troikobin off on the side, and Architect couldn't really get much of a look in here. So France will start off at a lead after suffering at the hands of the United States.
Yeah, and I thought when you saw Architect take out Hip right before that final fight kicked off, you lose your Moira, you're in a good spot if you're South Korea, but they're not able to regroup, make a push back out onto the point. So
it was an odd round. Really odd.
Yeah, had an odd feel to it.
City Center, our next round. Haksal on the Farah, probably, wow, I mean, there's probably Genji, Doomfist, and Farah in that order, but Haksal was probably famous for Farah a lot longer before the Doomfist. Definitely a pick you like to see him on, and they've got Architect here, and Architect can show us all sorts of looks. I mean, he's just known for being a Swiss Army knife. They still want to go with the Roadhog and the Orisa setup.
Interesting. Because you saw, obviously during the Overwatch League playoffs and then finals, how good of a Sigma Choyobin is. They just seem like they don't want to play it here.
This comp is aggressive.
Leap loading up a punch here, trying to get into this guy.
In a world where he gets a Farah, that's pretty incredible. He was looking to see what he could find. Chubbs is very caught out of position. He's been, I mean, that concussive blast from Haksal split the entirety of France off him, and he's eventually going to get run down. Just that one concussive blast has won the fight.
I mean, Haksal, Farah, Architect Hanzo is, regardless of what meta or how strong those heroes are, I mean, that is a scary sight.
Not really very fair.
Nope. South Korea will take the point. Well, it's not fair, especially when you have IDK, Ocean, Choyobin, and Mano filling out the rest of the spots. Maybe it'd be kind of fair if you had like a few of us in there, but.
Come on. Oh, God. France only 20% down here. It was a pretty quick first fight, in all fairness. After they lost Chubbs, it all kind of fell apart for them. I need to be careful of getting knocked around. Yeah, so environmental kills far less likely on a map like this, but getting split off from your Orisa is devastating, and Haksal is getting 3 kills with that barrage. Again, no need to hold on to it. A lot of confidence there. When you think about it, Matt, it's just Mercy and Ana to heal him up. It's not like a Moira just to dump healing into him when he barrages, so you have to have a little bit of confidence to go for that play.
Yes, and it does make it much harder for France to just run in and try and take out the tank line of South Korea, because you do have Bedoshin playing the Ana. So you can just drop a big Biotic Grenade, heal everybody up. Valkyrie as well. Tough spot for France as now they go over to the McCree.
Hip on the Ana is playing off to the left-hand side here. This Dragon Strike. I mean, you're not getting back from that.
I think he did. I think
no one else has a wall, bro. Yeah. There is only one wall on France. Chubbs is thinking, mate.
Bro, come on,
with friends like this, who needs enemies?
Yeah.
76% is counting for South Korea, so suffice to say they've sort of found the rhythm a little bit more.
We've all been there, though, in like ranked, right? Where like your Mei accidentally walls you off and you're screaming,
absolutely.
Oh, there's a pick. FD God worked his way all the way back to the spawn just to die in it. Yep, that is a friendly fire tactical crouch there.
France had to make a play, but they've lost lead. I mean, there's no chance now. With Leap getting slept so early on, they're down to 5, and France can't even touch the point. South Korea shifted up a gear, and that seems to be enough to give them the round.
Celebratory whole hog at the end there from Choi. So, I will say that whenever we see South Korea at the World Cup, they always have a great time. We've seen so many people we know at this event just walking by, giving us waves. I want to shout everybody out, but then the whole stream would just be a list of shout-outs. But
that is true. But that's my favorite thing about BlizzCon, is it feels like every year if you haven't got out here yet, at least 1 year, you have to make the effort. It feels like a reunion of all my favorite people, at least. You know, people from Overwatch regions that I don't get to hang out with on a regular basis, or people that you see on stream or whatever, and everyone's, you know, here to hang out. We're in like a small enclosure with like a fence, but we're coming up to the end of the fence. We're hanging out with fans in between the games. It's actually a really fun way to just get to do the casting and also see these teams, but hang out with some of the people that made the trip out here.
Yeah.
France, well, they made a long trip out here, and yet to see if it's really going to yield too many results for them here. Choikobin finds an early hook, and Architect has already found.
Whoa.
Okay, that is.
We can't come back on camera. I just threw up everywhere. I mean, that is filthy.
Just threw up.
I mean, Architect with the flick. Unreal, man. The 3K for Architect at the beginning.
Something tells me he's not feeling the pressure that much.
Oh, no, he's chilling. Just shows you how strong San Francisco was during the season, that he was like a bench boy for a lot of it, and it's wild how good he is. I mean,
Axel with Barrage can play from the high ground, and he doesn't even need the ultimate. That would have been a good time to hit Q, but he just doesn't need to.
Why not? I mean, you don't need to. Yeah, like
so.
They bring out. They tried to go McCree in the spawn to potentially like take him out real quick, but Hacksaw with the good positioning.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like, even if you're mechanically very strong and have good awareness, Hacksaw is not really giving you much to look at. Look at him, just backing up slowly. It's incredible. Like, he never has to touch the ground. So here's a Dragon Strike. Architect uses that to find Chubb. So much more of a tool to split the main tank off from the rest of the team than to really find a brace of kills. But Manu's got down as well. Hacksaw decides to let this one go now, and they get Tech 36 and an FD God. So I think they're happy enough with that. No further investment required. And they still remain in control.
And, you know, France did win a point. I feel like we are talking about South Korea a lot because they're so talented.
Yes.
France did win a point, but now they've been put into a very difficult spot where they cannot stop this composition. And you're just kind of throwing things at the wall here. So now Tech 36 comes out with a Diva here. A Risa Diva, not really the ideal composition. Then Hip goes over to Moira to provide the healing.
This is going to have to be... Oh, my! That is just...
Is that what it's going to have to be? 6-player biotic grenade there.
Oh, my. They have a shield and a defense matrix. It just didn't matter. Fair enough. Choikobin now going to try and go for the whole hog. It's the sound barrier for France. They have to commit to this fight, and they get Choikobin, who was very vulnerable while churning away with a scrap gun. Just the one kill. Architect needs healing apparently, but no one's really able to give it to him currently, as Leaf is keeping the healers of South Korea busy. France commit everything, well, not everything, a bit, and they win the fight.
And now you see for the first time Choikobin go over to Sigma. Do they change up the damage dealers though, or do they want to keep playing Hanzo Pharah? As it looks like, at least for now, we'll continue to see the Hanzo and the Pharah as Architect goes to Soldier 76. Okay, yeah, that. Don't think we're going to see 76, sorry guys, but Architect goes over to Sombra now. So Sombra, Pharah, potentially get a hack on one of these shielded well, really, just get a hacks on the Chubbs or Tech 36, you're in a good spot.
Easy hack targets as well, Matt. I mean, you can't really move that Orisa shield, and
nice
Diva
Maywall, though.
Can't prevent it with the defense matrix. Manu down. That sleep dart won't amount to much as South Korea are already beating a hasty retreat. Choikobin's able to find Chubbs there, though. That is so dangerous.
Wow.
France is supposed to be chasing for some kills here, and now they're going to commit the Blizzard because they're worried. There's a good chance after losing their main tank that Korea get a look in. Hacksaw goes for the barrage, ends up blowing himself up there. Probably the Diva flyby by Tech 36 or something similar. And France had to back onto the point, but this is by no means safe for them. Manu is already here. Look how quickly Chubbs is getting speed boosted into position. France are going to have to hang on now.
Oh,
Big
that's
hack.
Nice. You get a halt into the hack, and that'll be Chubbs who gets the hack on him, so can't put down a new Orisa barrier.
Oh, good. You see what he's trying to do there?
Yeah.
Take Architect out of a position where he can easily get that EMP, but that wasn't to be the case. It was baited in and the hook connected. Large EMP, and Tech 36 can't do a thing about it. He is able to get back into his mech at the very least. Leaf, I mean, he's just hoping for something here. Eventually he gets hooked. He should have known. It would probably be a matter of time.
Oh, he gets saved there by Hacksaw, who actually punching him out of the hook, but it is not looking good for France here.
Choikobin's just floating around here. Looks like he's under anti-gravity as he comes off that high ground. Here's a whole hog to try and keep FD got away from the point. It's actually going to work pretty darn well. Hardest comes in on the Tracer, which is a pick he's known for. But right now, it just isn't going to be enough. That's map 1, South Korea.
It's a clean win there outside of the first point for South Korea. So I think, you know, if they've been so good throughout all the Overwatch World Cups in history, right? I mean, just so much talent in the region. Is this the strongest roster they've ever had, plus coaching, top to bottom? It might be.
It might be.
It might be. And I think you have to preface it as like the players at this time in their career, right? Like you know, maybe they could have had like a Jonak, let's say, for Bedosian. I think there's some other flex supports, but I think Bedosian is able to play a lot of the flex supports, you know, at a very high level. I think this year we saw him with London play well, but I think London just kind of up and down as a team. You're not going to see the most consistent best results. But, I mean, you have Architect, Haxal, and Carpe, Mono, Choyobin. This team is stacked. Like across the, you just sit back there, just flip a coin, which DPS wants to play. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
And,
right?
and in reality, you can create a bench a mile long of players that, you know, absolutely have a shot to being in this roster.
This roster, though, is put together to be aggressive.
Yep.
You don't go through all of the trials and end up with IDK and Bedosian and want to play passive.
It's dead true. And I think that's why we saw so much Ana from Bedosian as well. I think he just straight up didn't want to play Moira. I think he was probably just wanted to play Ana, try and go for sleep darts, try and make plays, which obviously, you know, you put yourself in a position where you can do that. Right. I mean, we've seen the Roadhog from Trichoven, which is definitely, for me, rings like more of a, I want to run you over. We're going to run over your shields.
It's a bad feeling to have if you're France. And if you are France, right, you're playing double shield. They're working you with the Orisa and the Hog and the Pharah Hanzo, right? Are you going to go and match them? That's not the play, right? I mean, you try and find something else that works, but after a while, you're like, well, you know, do we want to just start unloading damage dealers and just kind of start, you know, firing bullets at each other? Like, against this roster, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, then you end up in a scary situation. Like, let's say you want to try and play like dive and start jumping on some of these targets. What, you want Mono and Choi to switch over to Winston D.Va? Nah, I don't want that. I mean, very interesting. I do want to see, though, South Korea play some kind of like Reaper Doom. I want to see something along those lines.
Why have we not seen Soon?
What does he play? What did he play?
Bro, he's a great Zarya. Haven't you seen?
No, but I think it's a
like,
meta that's not great for him, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, maybe Reaper. We've seen Soon play Reaper in the past, but then like he doesn't like does he have a Mei in his pocket? Does he have some of these other heroes that are necessary? Like, maybe not.
Yeah, it's a tough one, and that's probably why. I mean, to be fair,
you want to play some Widow, you probably put him in.
Leaf is absolutely one of the earliest adopters of Doomfist in competitive play. Right. Hardest as well has played. His hero pool is pretty similar to Soon's, if I'm honest with you. But unlike Soon, he probably didn't have to play much of this year as Zarya. Right. You know, I mean, maybe he had a couple more options. To be fair, contenders were saddled with the GOATS meta for longer than the Overwatch League was, shockingly enough. But, you know, he was actually known as a McCree player, Hardest was, and Soon was as well to a degree. So maybe there's a chance for some Widowmaker play there. Paris are playing very safe, very well-behaved team compositions. It hasn't mattered so far. The execution just wasn't. I mean, I think fundamentally they weren't up to scratch on control against South Korea. And you know, if you can't match him in that arena, then you probably don't even think about messing with your comps and trying something different.
So going into map number 2, we get Carpe in for Haxal. So that is a crazy thing to even say. No, I imagine like it's so stupid how good their roster is. It's, France, they'll play Soon on the Bastion. So you were wondering, when do you see Soon? The answer was Soon. He comes right into the game.
Did you just try like a? Never mind.
What?
Yeah, France.
What did I try and do?
Nothing.
I try and do what you do with
that was
all the
way worse, brother.
Nah, I did about the same quality.
Carpe on the Hanzo. So we've heard tales of it, Matt. Now we get to see it for ourselves.
You hit the wrong button. Your face came up.
Oh. Yeah. No, I meant to do that.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, Don't do that. We're trying to actually have viewers stay, not just run in fear.
All right, so all the front set up on this right. Okay, so they try and pincer on defense in this choke. I feel like if they lose here, though, like, what are the odds of France being able to get back to the point and have another fight there? Minimal, yeah. I mean, look, it's the same. If you play on the point, you only really get one shot
Leaf
as well.
is in some trouble.
Yeah. Just pressure Leaf down. He used the ice block early. They knew it was a foregone conclusion when he got out of it.
You don't have to play that much Overwatch to look at that scenario and be like, yep, that guy's in trouble. he's surrounded by about 4 players from the other team.
I've seen plenty of diamond ranked in my life. I tell you, he's not getting out of that.
Ain't got to be much of an analyst to tell you that one. It's,
got a lot of experience at feeding.
Here's a tip for your Overwatch games at home, kids. Don't run into the other team, get surrounded by 4 players. But they're still able to make a play out of this, France. So they're playing around this Bastion. Great. Odd rocket barrage here from Architect, just kind of like a zoning barrage to force him to the left side. Now you're able to start to make some progress here for South Korea.
South Korea, again, just playing together. They're allowing Architect and Carpe just to look for kills, and then they're just trying to capitalize on them here. Not a lot of set play. They are really playing what I would call probably one of the least subtle compositions. It's like, hey, can we out-damage them? Can our DPSs find those picks? Can we get player advantage?
Probably just to get back.
Soon's just trying to relive the glory days while he has the chance.
No, he's a fun player.
Oh, yeah. All right, so France at least getting to the point. So they had a chance there. Soon gets a nano boost here. I see he was trying to queue up the melee attack before he blinks in. That one didn't quite work out the way it would have liked. He tries! Oh, he tries, and Carpe shuts him down. He gets rid of Leaf as well, and this is the player, Matt, that we saw shackled to the Zarya for 3 stages out of 4. Finally a chance to flex, and my God, he looked like Mr. Olympia out there, fam.
If somebody on Plat Chat leaves another YouTube comment that says Carpe is washed, I'm just going to start blocking. I'm just going to start blocking these people. It's so dumb. The guy's unreal there on the Hanzo. I remember I did a interview where it was just me and Fraggy kind of hanging out. And, we were discussing, we're like, just tell me a little bit more about Carpe and whatnot. And Fraggy, a long time, 2-year teammate of Carpe on Philly Fusion, he reckons his best hero is Hanzo, which is crazy to think about.
Considering that maybe we got a glimpse of it in the 2018 Grand Finals. Yeah, another 2 for Carpe. I mean, this guy, you wonder, and you have to wonder as well, with the way that Season 2 went and sort of the different heroes that people had to play, Carpe's going to have a chance to do this all weekend.
Oh, I mean, he has to know.
Show off what he couldn't show off this year.
Well, he has to know the talk around him, right? Like, maybe Carpe's not as good as he once was, right? Like, he's got to come in here and just want to
silently molding in the Philly house.
He wants to just dumpster people.
Just grinding solo queue.
I mean, just come out here and just crush opponents. Soon now over to the Widowmaker to try and stop the Pharah, but he gets taken out right away by Architect.
Architects just going to flank around now, and the confidence is just oozing from this man. Fortunately, maybe a little bit misguided in that situation as Hip is able to take him down from long distance. Okay, I think that was an attempt at a Blizzard from Leaf. I think he got it stuffed up his nose, and they sent him back to spawn. And that's a shame to lose that one, but that is the way it goes.
And they kite this. They nano boost Tech 36 on the Sigma, and they just run around. They do not allow him to get anything done with the effects of that. Now they're going to come in with a supercharger.
South Korea just continuing to lean into France now, just to try to see how much resistance is going to be offered. Biotic Grenade onto Chubbs and Tech 36. What more is there? Soon gets IDK, though he's back on the Widow. Seen some good moments from him on that one so far this year. And the second, he gets rid of Architect. Accretion connects on a Treek Open. Where do you go from here, though? Possibly any other team probably regroups. It looks like South Korea are actually keeping some players a little bit further forward here. So they split themselves, trying to find another pick. But, I mean, yeah.
Give me Carpe Widowmaker. Just do it. Give up the Dragon. Go to the spawn. Play the Widowmaker. He's not doing it.
He's not. I mean, but that's such an interesting fact. How many people out there you think know, though, that Carpe's best hero is Hanzo?
I mean, probably not a ton. And I mean, I think your base, it is off the opinion of a teammate. I mean, Carpe, you don't realize how many heroes he's able to play. Like, I mean, everybody knows him probably for, like, Widow Tracer, but I mean, he can also play Genji, too. A respectable Genji.
Leaf from on high. Soon. Look at that transition. Schmick.
Clean.
in for sight here, and it does appear that South Korea do respect this. In past years, they've definitely said Soon's a player that they respect. How did Leaf? Oh, Leaf got slept into the Dragon Strike. Leaf brought back though, 4v4. All right, here comes that amplification matrix. Leaf has to go on and make the change. He doesn't quite have the barrage yet, but looks like that's where France wanted to put their eggs. Barrage now. That one looks pretty darn good. Mano and Choikyoben go down. Architect was still able to cut Leaf off mid-sentence. South Korea at 37 seconds left.
Now we get a Tracer battle. He gets Soon on the Tracer. Architect on Tracer as well. Chubbs then moves over to Wrecking Ball, probably intended just to get the touch with it.
Time is ticking, 23 seconds. France finally stabilizing here. South Korea do not have ultimates to work with, and they do not have Carpe on the Hanzo anymore. Soon going hunting on that Tracer. Just dominate on that hero during the dive meta. Made it look so easy. Leaf doubling back here. He's gone for some peel on the sleep dart connects. Oh, you're done, son. IDK gets the finish there. Leaf really trying to dig Mano out of that position, but he can't really get rid of him. Good body grenade there from Hip. Carpe not going to get away with it. You asked to see the Widow, that's what you get. Just for that last fight, Carpe attempted it. The Architect's still looking for more. He actually managed to avoid getting slept himself. And he's actually looking to the back line. He's looking for Soon, potentially. Good bit of damage there on towards Chumps, but that's healed up instantly. A pulse bomb here will go a long way. IDK finds Soon, and now he's going to drop down that amplification matrix. This could be where things really get turned around. Architect's pulse bomb goes into the kinetic grasp here, but Tech 36 is way out of position. Architect is still looking for the kill, and Carpe finds a Widow shot on Leaf. And South Korea, looks like they come to their senses at a pretty critical moment. Carpe finding headshot after headshot, and they get the time extension. They get to keep playing the map.
And does Leaf stay on Pharah? I think if you see him stay on the Pharah, you'll have Carpe commit to the Widow. They expect a change, so let's see. Architect maybe plays, okay, Doomfist. Nope, now we're going to play Mei. It's, they see the Bastion come through. That's why they decide to go with Mei Reaper here.
Shout out to Golden Boy and the Red Zone crew. What's good?
Oh, hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, Golden Boy, I can see your boomer shoes under the table, bro.
So, they have joined us to heard commentary, but now I guess it's just throwing insults.
Yeah, well, it's pretty standard for us talent, but South Korea have been able to make their way into the last phase of the map.
Us.
This is interesting. This is rather circumspect approach from Choikyoben here. Trying to get around not only the Bastion's presence, but the shield that Tech 36 has erected in front of him. Carpe is, okay, this is brazen. This is you can't be serious. Oh, he's going for it. But it's what happens. It's what happens when everyone's paying him attention that's important. Yeah. Carpe could be the diversion there.
Well, they had to use a Mei wall to save him pretty much. So now you're just trying to find an angle here.
Leaf gets the nano boost. He's trying to go for a pretty meaty barrage, but can he line it up? The supercharge is in the way. That shield isn't going to last very long. He's found one, like a little bit more, but Chumps held him out, getting with a Mano there, and now it's going to be the Gravitic Flux. Architect brought down low by that one, and South Korea may well be prevented from finishing this map now. Leaf's looking for more. France do not like the disrespect offered them by South Korea, and they punish them for it. Only the 2 checkpoints so far for South Korea, and that may be all they get here. Mano tries to roll on up with the homies. There just aren't enough of them. Going to be rolling 20 deep for that one, fam. That'll be France holding South Korea off at the gates. And
we were wondering, like, can France play them in the damage matchup head-to-head? They sub in Soon. He plays some Bastion, some Widowmaker. We see him play Tracer there for a bit, and they're able to get a hold before the map completion. Now, with South Korea on defense, what do they play? They could play with Architect in the game. Architect plays a really good Bastion. So maybe we do see a Bastion play here from South Korea.
A way just to try and hold France off. If you recall, France tried a defensive setup on Eichenwald that we don't really see a ton of. They play very close to that first choke, ostensibly, as we discussed on Havana in the previous series, to give them another chance to sort of fight on point A as defenders before the card gets moving. They try and go for a pretty close pincer, and it looks really good. Even after losing Leaf first, they trade a kill. South Korea eventually just, they kind of brute force their way through here. They just try and use their DPS to look for picks, try and set, try and force bad positioning with hold and something like that, and they eventually made their way through. So what does South Korea do? Do they try and play the same? Do they play up front, play aggressive?
With this
or do they sit and play point?
This you kind of play more of a standard old school approach around the point. I think if you had the Bastion in play, you could have played up close or a Mei. But you don't really have a lot of area denial with this composition, with the Pharah Hanzo. And I remember a few, well, I was going to say a few World Cups ago. Remember just about every World Cup where for the the groups and the prelim portion of it, South Korea, they never show exactly what they're going to play. They always kind of hide it, like really close. They know they can get out.
Flower was playing Symmetra or something like that back in 2017.
Well, we had one World Cup where Flower was trying to play every hero.
Yeah, I think he did, right?
They played like a quad tank thing on King's Row. He played Arisa for a bit. It was a mess, but they crushed everybody. You may be seeing some of the same here. Like, hey, let's, we can beat these teams playing Hanzo with a Pharah and a Roadhog, but then when they start to get into tomorrow, let's say, if they do make it, it's looking real good. Then they show what they've really been working on, right? No point to show anybody if you can get through it.
Architects, IDK in the air battle versus Leaf and FD-God. So far, not a lot to come of that one, but look
Chubbs
how far.
is dead.
France have encroached a long way, and Chubbs look to be out of position there. They might still get followed up a little bit, but Leaf drops in and gets rid of Carpe. One of the bigger threats to his Pharah, now off the table. Hooked in, though. That is max range, as max range gets. Chocoban has to trade his life out for it, though, and France are winning in terms of the back and forth. Carpe's brought back into the fight, and Architect's probably waiting for healing here. Both he and Carpe are a little low, but the front line for South Korea is holding strong.
Yeah, Mono's real weak. He throws a halt up in the sky as now they're starting to push on this. As Soon goes over to Widow. He's able to connect with Architect.
Carpe trying to just break these shields down. Soon's on the flank, and they weren't ready for this one at all. Now he's going to be looking for Carpe, who tries to come over the top, but Carpe gets a shot, and IDK goes in with a Caduceus Blaster. It's flashy, sure, but South Korea eventually started to run out of numbers on the point. They try and play the player-to-player, or in this case, the man-to-man, and it doesn't quite work out.
So now Carpe switches off of Hanzo. Will play Widowmaker, the better. Oh, well, wait, you have a double sniper set up
Carpe
now,
back to the old Widow.
So they'll go double sniper. You stay with Architect on Pharah. You probably do that just because you're trying to get value out of this Mercy for a bit longer.
Halt, accretion, no connection there, but Bedoshin goes down to Soon. All right, Carpe, Hanzo looked good. Now he has to step up on that Widow, try and match what Soon's been doing.
It's the second time we've seen Bedoshin get picked early.
Yeah, IDK has the res though, so at least you can erase that. It just means you can't bring the Pharah back if things go south. Architect finds Leaf, and I think Soon thought he had that kill on Chocoban easy, but he got healed up. Chocoban nano boosted there, if I'm not mistaken. Architect over the top here. The barrage is very good. That is a nice way to deal with a Pharah. Unfortunately, the damage had already been done.
So do you switch if you're Architect now? Maybe you play Hanzo? It's the beauty of having Architect in the game is...
Or this.
All right.
I mean, against double sniper. Look.
Now we're just... remember when I said they were just going to kind of play whatever? Once you see the Genji, the Brenji down there, is he's working, but I'm sure he'd be all over this. As nope, goes back to the Pharah. Well, now that they switch off of double sniper, he goes to Pharah. So just kind of a lot of mind games with these damage dealers.
Yeah, and South Korea are either able to scout this out or predict it. One of the two. Carpe trying to pressure Leaf down. Soon switches back to the Widow. So both these teams are still trying to counter each other, and Tech 36 brought Carpe down. It looked like Carpe had actually just grappled up, but that wasn't the case. The DPS of France, though, you can't deny what they bring to the table.
I mean, they've been bringing it. I mean, yeah, that's kind of one thing where you're like, oh, do you want to play them in the damage role? And they've been doing work. Soon coming in, making a big impact.
I definitely think where South Korea truly win their matchups is in the tank role.
Yeah.
But they're also playing Roadhog Arisa here, so not seeing much of Chocoban on that Sigma at all. France are in a good position to take this map. Are they
going to give this up?
Yep. 4 minutes now. So South Korea at risk of giving over a map here to France, who have 4 minutes to not even... okay, fair enough. Not even finish the map.
Nano Barrage, Pharah comes through. Didn't see a Nano Barrage just yet, but...
It's funny, just as France take the checkpoint, South Korea just
look at this
them.
setup. They're going to play like, kind of like try and spawn kill from the opposite side.
But can France not just move through the building here? They have a very small opening.
They could, but they were almost trying to play it like how you would on Havana, get over the building, right? And nice shots there.
Soon's out there. Put some respect on my boy's name, you know what I mean? Trying to pull
bro.
Trying to pull this cheese, this flank nonsense.
You're a Overwatch League player, professional player for years.
You're also from France, so you know cheese better than anyone else, bro.
Well, and you're trying.
You eat that for breakfast.
And the other team's spawn camping. Like, come on, man. Like, you got to fight back. Like, that's where you look down the line and everybody you're playing with and like, all right, like, what's the deal, guys? Are we gonna sack up and play this, or are we just gonna go home?
I mean, they are in a one-fight territory, and they need to.
Zen Lucio here with a Mei Widow.
Okay, all right. I get it, South Korea, but here's the thing: this doesn't elongate the series because you'd pay 3 maps anyway, bros. France looking very good now. 2 minutes 41, last fight territory. Trichoman tried to touch Yorma.
He didn't. He gets knocked off. And he doesn't touch.
Okay.
And the map ends.
Fair enough. That's
so France. Dude, Soon made an impact, whether it be on the Tracer or the Bastion, the Widowmaker. I like it. I like that. Bringing him in the game is turn this into a 1-1 match.
Wow. That looked a little bit weird, that last couple of fights, right? So South Korea put themselves at risk of getting snowballed pretty hard by trying to go for a spawn camp.
Yeah.
But then it seems like their defense was very much non-existent in that last phase of the map there. They try. I mean, if their last hope was really sending Choi Hyobin onto the cart when you have Sigma and Ana, so you have a ton of CC and and Roadhog can't really do too much about that. And
and then you go Zen Lucio at the end. We've not seen a Moira from South Korea yet, so some odd compositions.
I have some reservations about
some odd compositions. We have seen them, though, in the past do this during group prelim stages, so nothing that I would be too worried about as a
credit where it's due. Credit where it's due, though. France looked extremely good in the DPS position. Soon, when you see him switching, like your question was, what is his hero pool, right? What does he bring to this meta? We saw him start in the Bastion. That kind of worked out. Their defensive setup with the Bastion on one side, the Mei on the other looked pretty good to start with. Then we get to see him play soon. I mean, South Korea, to a degree, are allowing France to play some of those comfort picks just because they are also playing Pharah, they're playing Widowmaker, they're playing Hanzo, they're mixing it up. So both these teams,
a little wild, yeah.
Maybe whether it's a gentleman's agreement or whatever it is, they're not playing strictly those setups and comps, and that does give France the chance to see Soon again dominate. But we've seen him for Paris dominate on Widow so far in the Overwatch League.
And then just giving you guys an update, I can see a one game that's going on the red zone. I believe
China-Netherlands.
Yeah, China-Netherlands. I believe that is Jaws and Leg Day on the call. That is China up 2-0. So also the Team USA, they have defeated Sweden 3-0 too. So you have the USA win both of their first 2 games. I believe they played France. They win that one 3-0. Now they have gone on and beaten Sweden 3-0. And then Russia did get that win earlier against Canada. So Canada's got to make up some maps, man.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, they kind of, for those who aren't aware, Canada had to start their games today without XQC, who is obviously doing tons as an influencer and content creator, and well, he's here to sort of showcase some of what's going on Overwatch with Overwatch 2, which has been announced. But it meant that Canada had to play with Mangachu on main tank.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird scenario, right? But XQC is a phenomenal main tank player.
Yeah.
But he is also one of the largest streamers on Twitch. That's now. Correct. I believe the last time I saw, he was like the most sub-2 channel on Twitch.
Yep.
A lot of his start comes from Overwatch, so Overwatch 2 is a big moment for him and the content that he makes. So
Dallas Fuel, XQC.
Yeah, I mean, Seagull is here also doing some stuff.
Dallas Fuel are the kingmakers of the Overwatch League streamer crossover.
Yeah, kind of.
To be fair, Seagull was a king of streaming before.
Escort up next, Route 66. But no, yeah, I mean, that totally makes sense for XQC. Having to miss that in the morning. So, do you see them play Pharah Hanzo again? Looks like it.
I mean, this was...
No Moira, no Lucio. South Korea's got to have something else planned for some of these matches. I mean, I don't think you'll win the whole thing playing Pharah Hanzo. Will I be impressed if it happens? Yes,
okay, so
I think it'd be hard.
Let's think of it this way. South Korea have won every World Cup ever.
Yep.
It probably mounts a little bit like the map win streak of the San Francisco Shock, right? Like the more you win, the less you want to risk losing.
Yeah.
A World Cup grand final. So you know, as time goes on, they probably get more and more cagey about like showing their strats, especially as, you know, the rest of the world internationally starts to get further and further on par with them in terms of the diversity of their talent pool. South Korea probably doesn't want to risk losing a World Cup, so why show anything right now, really? Architect on May, though, is not a foreign sight to us. We're quite familiar with this.
And now they have Choi on the Sigma. So the only times we've seen Choi on the Sigma is when they absolutely need to run the Sigma.
Soon down already. I mean, they're able to push straight into that Bastion setup there, and you know, FD God goes down so early in that fight, comparatively speaking. Carpe, this is all being set up for him, you know. Bidoshin hits just a filthy sleep dart on top of that train carriage.
Yeah.
South Korea break that sort of forward hold instantly.
So what does France decide to do? They play, do you stay Bastion for a Bastion here? And I think the more chaotic these fights become, it's a little bit easier for the Hanzo and other characters to go after that Bastion, like 1v1 play, right? Like the shields are in odd places. That is a halt that goes up, and nice Maywall there from Architect.
Soon staying up there. Okay, he's inside an immortality field, so that does stand to reason. It'll eventually drop down. Chubbs is sleeping, though. Chubbs is now cordoned off from the rest of his team. I don't know if South Korea either don't see that because of the rock in the way, or they're not interested in trying to pick him off. I guess with Hip up there for France, you could essentially bring back your Orisa. Architect needs to be careful here. Accretion does hit. Soon would have fallen there if not for that immortality field. Here's an Ant Matrix. So IDK lost his immortality field. FD Gods is down now. But this is where France have to commit. You see they commit to low ground. This could have been their undoing. They're going to send a Dragon straight through. Carpe! He figured it out! He holds onto that for as long as he has to. France had nowhere else to go. They had to drop off the high ground at risk of losing the cart.
And there's not a chance
they walk straight into a Dragon.
They can make it to the other side and get away from the Dragon. So the Dragon comes on through. They did use they burn a nano boost onto Architect there, so don't have the nano for the next fight. But soon now goes back to the Widowmaker. So Widow Pharah here will be the answer for France. Maybe you'll see South Korea after the Blizzard switch to a double sniper type of setup.
That was filthy. All right, Gravitic Flux. A lot of people caught by that. Whoa, what? Wait, what? Was that a melee attack? It's like they were all felled. That's just insane. They were halted together by the looks of things. So I guess he just punches one of them, gets them all. I've never seen that ever.
All right, as that is a 3-player Sigma melee that comes down from Choi.
Was that? That wasn't a graphical bug, was it?
I don't know, but I don't care. That is a 3-player melee kill from Choyobin there.
All right.
So Carpe, arrow right to Soon's face.
Soon tilted.
Soon gets right back up.
Absolutely boomed.
May get another arrow right back.
Carpe playing from this high ground here in France. I mean, Leaf has to challenge this one, but it's so risky. Carpe and Bidoshin combine, and for Bidoshin, that's not a hard shot to hit. For Carpe, maybe it's slightly trickier, but still, he can now play from this top angle. South Korea definitely playing a little bit more individualistic right now. Soon's going to get frozen, but he's able to get the kill on Carpe. He's going to be kept alive. Fantastic kinetic grasp used by Tech 36 to keep Soon up, and there it is, the revenge. Architect gets picked off now, and the McCree finally has a bit of space to work.
Yeah, Tech 36 though, with the kinetic grasp, able to keep him alive through being frozen. Is South Korea, they opt to stay with this composition, so no real changes. That'll be a halt accretion combo there, trying to connect it as the notion with 2 shots into Leaf gets him a little bit scared.
Dragon Strike there. That does split Chubbs and Tech 36 off from the rest of their backline. Here's an amplification matrix from Carpe. The angle.
In trouble.
Yeah, but Leaf comes around from the backside. That would have been a great way to shut Carpe down. That was what they were really looking for there. But Soon, uncontested from that high ground, was at least able to find the pick, get rid of IDK's immortality field at the very least. And France have another reprieve here. Soon's Deadeye. I mean, I'd love to see the Deadeye combined with Tech 36's ultimate. That is what France are working with right now, and a Gravitic Flux Deadeye would make my day.
So Choi will get put to sleep here. Is gonna see
wakey!
He's going to get taken out, though. The good old Soman Su flashbang.
Flashbang roll, flashbang.
Just
roll and fan, baby. It's like, yeah, it's the same as if you get caught on fire, right?
Yeah, exactly. France now have the ultimate advantage. The clock dwindling down. So France in another position, Mitch, to have a good defensive stand here and potentially take Route 66, and that would be the series.
South Korea a little messy currently.
They're so split, and I get what they're trying to do, like force action everywhere and get the shields moving and whatnot, allowing the snipers to make plays.
What is
but
this?
It's resulted in some odd fights.
All right, so they've split themselves voluntarily here. Now they've done the same to France, though. That wall came down at a great spot. Nano May doesn't quite save the day, unfortunately. But Ocean's able to take down Leaf. It's a 1-for-1 trade overall. Give it to me soon. Press Q. Oh, come on. Tag 36 is able to bring Vidosin and Mano down. Soon holds onto the Deadeye. What a patient man. What a well-behaved individual.
So IDK, he's going to get taken out here towards the end. Choi very low as Leaf, well, located Carpe. Carpe is now getting pushed. I mean, it's going to be very hard for him to make it out of this scenario alive, and he does not. So South Korea, one more shot at this. 30 seconds on the clock. You have an Amp Matrix, and that's it. Do you try and set up the Amp Matrix for like somebody like Carpe and now Architect in the double sniper role? Or do you use it to provide some more healing for the tanks on the point, potentially?
France so far have had all the right answers to South Korea.
Yeah.
Even in a more chaotic style of game, they get hit with a 3-player Deadeye soon. 3-player bionic grenade soon.
Oh!
Deadeye, he catches Choi Hoban. Scant time is remaining now. He actually walks past the amplification matrix. He's safer than the rest of his team, even though he's in the middle of South Korea's backline. And it doesn't matter. France do it again. This defense, another fantastic performance. And South Korea pull up short, playing a little bit loose. And it comes back to bite them in the rear.
Oh, and if you're France, you just pull out the Bastion Pharah on offense here, and you start to get the Bash on the cart. You're in a position to take Route 66, which would give them the 2-1 series, as that would be huge for France, as it's been a much different series as soon as came into the lineup.
I mean, he's given it a fantastic new look. It does mean that France have trended a little bit away from playing the Reaper, the Doomfist combo. But South Korea are not giving him a reason to do that. So, I mean, Soon is enabled much more in this lineup now to play that McCree, which, credit to Chubbs and Tech 36, create an environment where he can actually perform at his best and find crucial kills. I mean, that flashbang now gives you so much more, especially against a May that is trying to flank or, an Ana that's out of position. Very easy for France to punish what South Korea were doing, especially with the anti-flanking potential of McCree.
France, they have some time to make some adjustments before this starts, but Carpe on the Widow at the beginning. Widow May. I think if you're, the Widow is obviously a strong pick for Carpe, but I think the Widow is a little bit easier to game plan when you see it here, right? Like, as soon as France sees the Widow, they have a lot of different options, right? Double shields. You can play the Bastion. You can play other stuff because you know they can't provide that shield break, right? So, see, yep, they go Bastion. So, see how long they stay with this. Because I think, look, you have double shield and they do not, and you have the Bastion and they do not. You can make this work against the Widowmaker. You feel worse about it if Carpe was playing Hanzo, I think.
Carpe punished awfully quickly just for standing still. Like a game of stuck in the mud. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, Soon just yanked out of position. Architect found a kill. 3 players at the very least were focusing him down at that moment. And
because he gets launched because of the halt.
That's right. He maintains his trajectory even if he breaks CC.
Yeah.
He's still on that, and that used to happen as well to enemy Orissas when they were fortified. It's a similar thing. So not ideal. That's not where he wanted to be. That actually really hurts him there. South Korea are forced to back right on up.
And Soon goes over to the Widow and takes out Carpe. So interesting that France, instead of trying to play a little bit slower, play on the cart, when they see this composition come out, they decide to challenge it head on with your own Widowmaker. Carpe now goes over to Hanzo. As Soon has really looked strong on the Widowmaker today.
Manu's able to catch him there. That was a hook. That was enabled Soon to be picked up. It looked like he tried to grapple away. So South Korea with the player advantage here, but need to be careful. They overextend into a grenade like that, and they're going to be having an awful time. And Matrix, that's questionable. Architect backs around the corner. Immortality field in front. South Korea say, well, listen, we've got our own Amp Matrix. You can walk right into this if you please. Gravitic Flux. Well, Tech 36 didn't really last long enough to get that one off. Both these teams are playing longer range compositions with Hanzo and Widow, but they are opting to fight each other inside Big Earls.
It's been a very odd match as South Korea does get a hold. Now you bring in a Lucio here, so now you want to speed up the tempo even more if you're France. You probably bring the Lucio in. Okay, now they're going to go Reaper as well. So you bring this in if you feel like you want to get the advantage in terms of the tank battle, right? You get aggressive behind the Lucio's speed boost. Reaper, Doomfist really strong against the tanks. It may not matter though. Architect lurking from up above.
That is insane value for that Dragon Strike. Yeah. Carpe read that very well. France tried to advance through Big Earls. So a Dragon Strike, not only did it limit their routes of escape, it also forced many of them to stand right inside of it. 90 seconds remain for France to get this first checkpoint.
It was a nice halt from Mono as well, who saw the positioning of France and decided to just drop the halt in there. Perfect timing. And then because of the Maywall from Architect, they couldn't exit out the other way. So Supercharger now for both teams.
We're in a world where you don't have Graviton Surge to combine with that Dragon Strike. So smart play and smart setup like that is necessary.
Nano Doom, oh, he's dead real quick.
That did not work. Looks like he walked straight into a hook from Troy Kyoven. But Ocean slept there. This is kind of getting away from South Korea now. Big Blizzard thrown in though. Tech 36 Chubbs all frozen up, but I mean, Mano's busy shooting the shield. Tech 36 completely safe that entire time. Trikoven needs to make a play here, and it might be the whole hog that gets him there. Takes a breather, hit by an accretion, has to go for it, but he's so vulnerable, he's so low on health. Yeah, that is going to happen. Carpe's able to find a couple kills though, and that amplification matrix makes a huge difference. Leaf tries to go over the top. Carpe is 1 health, and FD God's able to finish him off ultimately. France don't have a lot to work with here. They need to get rid of Architect, and Leaf is being held up. He needs to clear this out. He's not paying any attention to any of the rest of South Korea, but he realizes that he might be low on time. 20 seconds remain in the round. Goes in with the punch, finds the finish off, and this chaos, this utter chaos, seems to be benefiting France.
Yeah, and you're going to have Trioben come back now on the Wrecking Ball. IDK as well here on the Baptiste coming back into play. At that time, it was only Mono and Architect alive for South Korea, but Trioben living for a while. A good shield placement there from Tech 36.
They're going to get there, Matt.
Blocking off Carpe's line of sight. You are correct. France will take that first checkpoint.
Carpe backing up. You see France are really trying to push for some early extra real estate, but Chubbs does not get away with that one. Cheeky little foray forward, and soon will teleport up to the top left side.
Who does this Nano go to? You give it a Mono, you can give it a Architect or Choi.
Probably Architect for the damage reduction. Choi, I mean, probably looks a little bit better combined with the whole hog. Makes you far less vulnerable when you are using that ultimate. As of course, you can't take a breather during that duration. Okay. Body grenade thrown down by Bidoshin. Also, Immortality Field committed to that just because Soon pushed. Here's a sound barrier. France are ready to fight, but South Korea are trying to give them space. They're trying to disengage. Will they be allowed to? Soon took a massive headshot.
Hanzo.
Yeah. Carpe hitting very, very hard. Trikoven's going to get run down now, and that's the Death Blossom to secure the kill. Dragon Strike comes through, secures at least a 1-for-1. But Leaf wants to drop into the back line. Look at his health, 55. He's very low, but he gets the kill, and he gets plenty of shielding as a result. This guy is really walking a thin line, but he's able to get away with it because Doomfist refunds that damage back to shield. And where is South Korea here? They may not even have a chance to touch. They're so far away. Again, it's got to be Trikoven. He's knocked back. He's able to touch the point now, gets on there for a scant few moments, going to be frozen solid if he's not careful. Carpe's going to be on the tracer here just to try and get back and touch. But Architect's already removed. Leaf has that one get kill potential, and France are all over his man. They're looking real good. Unbelievable. France takes Route 66 with the upset over South Korea. Unreal scenes.
Incredible performance from France. Their damage dealers were phenomenal. All throughout, I thought Leaf was great on the Doomfist. In South Korea, we have not seen them play the meta. No Moira, no Doomfist, limited Reaper. In France, they played the meta, you know, for most of the time. And when they needed, the thing that's most impressive is when they needed to play the damage dealers, they came out and did it. And they were able to play the Widowmaker, they were able to play the Pharah and the Hanzo and get the win.
So South Korea opted, well, France opted into the Clown Fiesta. Or was it South Korea? I don't know which way it happened in the end, but France, look, these guys are the guys that used to dominate in a dive meta. They were the most aggressive region in Overwatch. Whereas South Korea have always been very team-oriented, right? That was really where they were strong.
True.
So when something like, for example, GOAT's a meta that required a lot of coordination between players, that was where we saw a lot of these Korean dominant teams sort of do well. But soon comes from an era where every DPS player, and there were 3 of them, would use their ultimates whenever they please, just to secure kills. This is their kind of game. Obviously there's incredible individuals on South Korea's side, but it really looks like South Korea played very loose. They played into France's wheelhouse, and they suffered a loss as a result.
And France took big advantage of it. I mean, this is a France win, right? I mean, they looked very good. Obviously, everything that South Korea threw at them, whether it be the Pharah, the Widow, the Hanzo, they were able to deal with relative ease a lot of the time.
Okay, so
they're able to get the win. I mean, they had about a minute and something on the clock there. I mean, that is a fast push on Route 66.
So so what is the most, the best way I can phrase this is that how much more is left in the tank for South Korea after a matchup like this?
What do you mean?
How much more is there to this team? Do you expect them to see
yes,
plenty of other strategies?
There's a lot more to the team. I think that you'll see them eventually. They'll kind of settle on maybe it's Carpe and Haxall in some kind of Reaper Doomfist scenario. I mean, you have Haxall, who's a tremendous Doomfist, and what do we see him do? Just play Mei the whole time? So this is where you can see where this group stands. So France now, with that win, gets to 1-1, tied with South Korea in terms of match results, but definitely lagging and behind of the games, individual games. Yeah. Team USA sits up top perfect, 2-0, 6-0 map count.
And we will see, of course, United Kingdom have plenty more opportunities to make, these games back. They and Sweden have only played 1 match so far. We still have plenty of games in progress as we speak. But that was pretty insane stuff. South Korea do drop the series.
Wild.
They get themselves a map, so obviously still being 4-2 sets them in a decent place. And honestly, it can give them,
they're still in a tremendous spot to make it out.
And regardless, they avoid a matchup in the finals against the United States because they're from the same group. But this position, if they get number 2 in this group, that would set them up potentially with a match against a China if they play cross groups.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily want to slack off in groups because you get cross seeded against the number 1 from Group B.
Denmark, dude. Denmark is tough. I think I saw this. I think Denmark was winning their game the last time I saw it come up on my screen. But looks like ZP and Avast are waiting for Sweden, USA. China 3-0 to the Netherlands, it looks like. I believe Josh and Bren are handling the Denmark game. I believe the last time I saw they were up. So,
and that I believe is the one that they've been covering quite a bit on the
yes,
the
they're in Route 66. So I believe that is their final map of that series.
So there you have it. That is our current group standings here. I mean, we've still got 3. Everyone plays 5 games, so still plenty more games to play for a lot of these teams. Or is it 4 games?
It is.
It's 4 games, right?
We do 4 games each. So yeah, that should be. It should be 4 games.
So still plenty more opportunities for United Kingdom, Sweden to start to make their way back in here. The other group, of course, which we touched first, we saw that China triumphing over Denmark early on in that particular piece. So there's a ton still to be decided. I'm going to ask you a question, Matt, and you can choose to answer this as diplomatically as you like.
Yes.
How much does South Korea care about that result? In the grand scheme of things.
I think you care just because it's embarrassing to lose for them. I think it was okay dropping the map, the 1 map, the map 2. I think losing the series, they probably feel pretty poor about. But I think the grand scheme of things for them is to win the whole thing. So
sure,
as long as they still feel they're on track to do that, I don't think they feel that bad about it. I mean, a lot of times people get hung up on results in group play or whatnot, and it's, tomorrow night we'll all forget what happened in groups, right? I mean, not really. Some of those victories, some of those maps, they seem really important now, but tomorrow we're in the finals, and they're still there, right? I mean, it doesn't really seem that impactful.
So obviously that rounds out our second round game. There are still a couple second round games being played currently. We've got plenty more on this stream coming right up. So we're going to me and Matt personally going to take a quick break. I believe Sideshow and Bren come out here, and there'll be South Korea versus Sweden coming up next on this stream. Sweden obviously need to get some map wins under their belt here with France. With France winning out over South Korea, they look like a very likely 3rd and final candidate from this group to go forward. Sweden obviously have a chance to play against France later on, but there's a lot that needs to be done there. After that, France go up against, well, that's France versus Sweden, yep. After that, Canada go up against Denmark. Canada, a very slow start in their group, in Group B, without having XQC. They will be up against staunch opposition with Denmark, who definitely pushed China quite a lot, even in the 3-0. That's where we're at right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a break. When this stream comes back, it'll be South Korea versus Sweden to see if that was a fluke or if Europe are really rising up. We'll see you in a few moments.
The 2019 Overwatch World Cup is brought to you by T-Mobile. Their newest signal goes farther than ever, and it's built 5G ready. Omen, the official PC and display of the Overwatch World Cup. And by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch World Cup.
Last 2 years, represent France is a huge honor for us. When eSport was recognized in the US or in Korea, it wasn't in France.
Unbelievable! 3 now for Sue!
It's not representing a team, it's representing a nation, and there's a ton of people watching you because they are French and they want us to win.